This is probably has the least connections of any of them. But just to pick up on what he was just talking about there, he said that this was founded by Attalus in 138 BC. We just came from Sardis, which was founded 1200 BC. Croesus lived in 300 BC. It was destroyed by Cyrus in the 6th century BC. It was destroyed again by the Seleucids in the 2nd century BC. That was Sardis. Sardis has this long history. And you ask about why did they build on top? Well, partly because of the earthquakes. And this was built a couple times as a result of earthquakes. But so there's not nearly as much history here as there is at the other sites, and specifically at Sardis where we first were. So the connections with the letter will not be as much as some of the ones we've seen elsewhere. But let me go through the letter. And I am in Revelation chapter 3, verse 7. To the angel of the church in Philadelphia wrote, "These are the words of him who is holy and true." You know what the word holy means? It's a word that is translated saint when it's used as the word holy is simply an adjective, holy one. But it's translated saint. What does it mean to be holy? Set apart. That's what it means in its root. To be set apart or different or from anything else. The words of him who is holy, who is true. That word true means faithful. And we've run into that all over the place in Revelation. The point is we need to be faithful. And Jesus is the one who is ultimately faithful. Verse 7 of chapter 3 of Revelation. Holy and true, who holds the key of David. This city had a start, as Jen just said, had a very large Jewish population. John says, in Christ we find the key of David, not in being an Israelite. And I think that was chosen for this particular place. What he opens, no one can shut. What he shuts, no one can open. I'll get back to that. That's, I think, to set up this whole... I think you'll see the connection of that in just a moment. I know your deeds. Hey, John's concerned with what you do. Almost all of the letters have that line in it. See, I have placed before you an open door. And Christ has opened the door, so no one can shut it. What is this door? This city was founded by the Greek population that was here, and it was founded after Alexander the Great. It was founded to be a missionary center for the spread of Greek culture. That's what Alexander the Great did. Alexander the Great, after he died, and the people that followed him, spread Greek culture across the empire, across the Mediterranean Empire. And as a matter of fact, very quickly you have Jews speaking Greek, you have Jews using a Greek Bible. Their Bible was a Greek Bible, not the Masoretic text that you use, or the Hebrew text that you think of. Their Bible was a Greek Bible. The Greek culture had spread around the whole Mediterranean area, and indeed it had influenced the Jewish people as well. Philadelphia was founded about in the 2nd century BC as a missionary center for the spread of Greek culture, not a Christian missionary center. Don't associate the word Christian with that missionary there. A center for the spread of Greek culture. It was, as Junk said, a crossroad town. And to the east, I don't know what direction east is here, but to the east, it was open and seen as the direction that this Greek culture should spread. That's the way it should go. Actually, when I first saw this, the reason I asked you the question was, when I first saw this, I was hoping it was a gate on the road, because that would have been a nice image for this. It's not. But whenever I think of Philadelphia and I think of that, I almost see that as the open door. It's not, but symbolically it is for me. Now what John is saying is they were founded to be an open door for the spread of Greek culture. John is calling them to be an open door for the spread of Christianity. And that's what the letter is about here. I know, but he realizes in the next line, I know you have just a little strength. The older versions of the Bible, the King James Version, translated that, I know you have a little strength. I don't think that's what it means. It means, I know you have only a little strength. This was not a real strong church. This was not a very large church. They didn't have a lot of strength or ability. And yet, you have kept my word and not denied my name. You have remained faithful. And that's John's line. Remain faithful. They have remained faithful. They have not denied his name. only a little strength, and yet you have kept my word and not denied my name. I wanted to say something else there, and it went right out of my mind. Kept my word. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews but are not, but are liars. And again, he's referring to a town where there was a large Jewish population, even by this time. So he is referring to that here. He says, and we saw that image before, so I won't make a big deal of it here. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. In other words, the Jewish people in Philadelphia and elsewhere must come to Jesus, who has the true key of David. That's the argument that's going on here. And it's directed at this Jewish situation. Since you have kept I'm in verse 10 now. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, that's a theme throughout Revelation, endure patiently, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come upon the whole world to test those who live on the earth. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because it's not relevant to what we're sitting here and looking at. The testing that comes upon the whole earth has been seen by some to be the Great Tribulation. I don't think it is at this point. I think it is referring to tribulation that will come upon this church in the coming future. I think the book of Revelation does talk about eschatological tribulation, but I don't think that's here. I think he's talking directly to the Philadelphia church. He says this, I am coming soon. I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have, so that no one take your crown. You're given a crown if you win the battle in the arena, or if you win the race in the arena. You're given a crown. And there are two crowns in Revelation. One is a royal crown, the diadem, or the diadema, or diadema in Greek. And the Stephanos here is the victor's crown. That's what we've run into most of the time in Revelation, the victor's crown. If you persevere to the end, you will receive a crown. Don't let anybody take it away from you, is what he's saying. Those who overcome, I will make pillars in the temple of my God. We are pillars in the temple of the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem is people. Every number, and there are a whole bunch of numbers in that New Jerusalem passage in Revelation 21. Every one of them is divisible by 12. 12 symbolizes the people of God. The city is the people. You will be a pillar in the temple of God if you persevere to the end. Never again will they leave it. I will write on them the name of my God, Yahweh, that divine name, the name of my God, the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from my God, and I will write on them a new name. Now, twice this town was destroyed by earthquake. One of those times was something like 16 BC, 14 to 16 BC, very, very close to this time period. And at that point, the town was renamed Neo-Caesarea because Caesar helped them to rebuild the town. Later on, it was renamed again after Emperor Flavian in a later century. They would understand the idea of a new name. At this time, they had just received a new name. They have just had the name changed from Philadelphia, because the guy loved his brother, to Neo-Caesarea. And it changed a couple of other times. That image is here because of what happened here in this town. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches. And there are fewer connections there.